I gotta say, it was a very strange picking day. Thankfully, the rain stopped, like literally. Like, I drove out my driveway with beads of rain on my windshield, and then there was like no more rain. So that crisis was averted. But got to the churchyard sale about 30 minutes late because I could not locate the building. There's like zero signage, and it's like down in this gully, so you can't even really see it from the road. And what was sketching me out is the entrance is like right on either side of the police station. And it looked to me like there might be an impound lot back there or something. And I was like, well, I don't want to be driving suspiciously around an impound lot right next to the police station. So I ended up stopping at a gas station, and that was in fact where it was at. So the last time I went around, I actually turned into that, because I kept thinking it's somewhere right around here, but I can't figure out where the entrance is. I couldn't see any signs that said like because it was in the Agri Center building. There was no signs that said that. There was no like, it's also on the fairground. There was no sign that said fairground. So I was just like lost. Oh, I'm rambling. I am so tired. I've gotten a lot done this week, and I'm proud of myself, but I am rapidly crashing. And it's probably good timing because one of my goals this week was by Monday night to be at 1,000 items in my store. Prior to having to move and everything, I'd gotten up to, I think I was like at 13, either 13 or 17, I can't remember. So that 1,000 item mark is like my current next goal, sort of like pushing to get there, because, you know, as far as algorithms goes, it helps to list every day, but also the more you have in your store tends to help too. Like, I've noticed when I'm at like a 200 item level, I make a certain amount of sales, and 500 a certain amount of sales, 750 another, you know, and it goes up sort of incrementally. And some of that's just because you have more to choose from, so there's a broader market. But it does, in my opinion, appear to also affect your standing as far as like algorithms go. So I want to hit that 1,000 item mark. So at the churchyard sale, it was definitely, I was hoping I would find more vintage items, because that can happen, but a lot of time these smaller town, like more southern communities that don't have like a whole lot of, you know, money or wealth in their communities, their items are just kind of, you know, like Walmart branded or local store, retail, secondhand. And a lot of times they actually will just throw away the vintage stuff because they've grown up poor and they've been handed down all these like older items, and to them they're not fascinating, or they're not, you know, in some instances it's almost like gross to them. Like, they feel like it's like a bad part of their past or something, you know. So people react, like regionally, people react differently, and even like in sort of socioeconomic levels react differently to certain types of things. But they will actually throw away. That's one reason I'm looking forward to trash picking this summer, because I really think I'm gonna find vintage items. But there was not a lot of vintage items. I did find some, and then I found some, generally just some good stuff. But it was weird picking today because it's just a lot of random weird things. And then I got a lot of jewelry, which we're gonna unpack together. I'm actually excited about that because I have not, like, I opened the one big bag just to put other items in so I could carry it, but I want, like, when I unbox things, I don't want it to be like I've already unboxed it and it's not exciting, you know, because I am not good at like faking emotions. But also I just think it's more authentic and fun. So I kind of looked at the bag, because one hint or piece of advice is, yes, you want the thrill of mystery bags or mystery bins, but you always want to at least look a little bit, because especially now when you can buy like giant mystery bags on goodwill.com or whatever, or wherever you get your big mystery bags, people will go through, find the handful of good pieces, and then just redonate or resell the others as a mystery bag. And so if you don't at least look and see if there's like one or two decent pieces that have potential, then you might be getting stuck with somebody's leftovers, and that's just not fun. You can still sell it as like junk jewelry, but you're probably not gonna make much or get your money back. So I did look at them enough to just say, okay, yeah, there's a good piece. There's a good piece. And I didn't know that they hadn't really picked through these either. But I don't know, and I definitely can't even remember what I saw. I think I saw at least a couple butterfly brooches. I know I saw a lot of brooches. I was looking for the brooches, but I think there's one or two butterfly brooches. I can't even remember anything else. I got a bag of watches at the other yard sale. So we'll go through that. But yeah, it's just a bunch of weird stuff. The first thing I picked up, which is only worth about $10, but it is new, like new old stock. It is a Rice-A-Roni Noodle-Roni. It's a San Francisco treat, and anyone from the 80s or 90s knows exactly what this is, and you can probably hear it like playing in your head repeatedly, and for probably 2 weeks this is going to be stuck in my head now, just from seeing it. But it's just so cool. The colors are cool. It's only going to sell for like $10, but sometimes, especially something this lightweight that you just throw in an envelope, it's just worth it to me. It's just, you know, somebody who really loves this or really has a good memory with this or something is going to buy it, and I'm going to still profit, but that is good for me. I picked up this, I think I actually picked this up before I picked that up, I can't remember. This is a vintage Nautica towel, and it is sort of like double-sided, so you got like the blue on one side, and it's red on the other. Vintage towels, especially higher quality, tend to do pretty well. Beach towels this time of year do really well. Nautica does decent. I can probably do 20 to 30-ish for this towel. If you find Ralph Lauren, buy it. Unless they're selling it for $10 or $20, don't buy it then. But, you know, $5 and under, I would say even like $6 or $7 and under, and you can still do good. You're gonna, most Ralph Lauren, especially beach towels, you're gonna be able to do 30, 40 easy on those. I also like towels, especially quality towels, because if for some reason you get home and there is a little hole in it, or it's not everything you hoped it would be as far as reselling, it's a towel. And everybody needs towels. Like, it's one of the most, and they're so expensive now. Like, even the cheapest Walmart towels are like $7 now, and they're so bad. So if I can find a towel for $1 or $2, and I'm pretty sure I can sell it, I'm not going to be sad if I can't sell it. Towels are amazing. Let me finish the churchyard sale before I get into those. At the churchyard sale, I also found this Fire King. It's like I can't remember if it's, most people I think call it just red orange. I've always called it sunset orange. I don't know if that's accurate or where I even picked that up, but it is the Anchor Hawking Fire King, and I think it's a fruit bowl technically. Some people will call it a cereal bowl, but I'm pretty sure this is a fruit bowl. Only gonna go for about $10. Again, nobody was even touching it, but when I see Fire King, especially in a fun color, and it's something I can make some sort of profit on, I'm gonna pick it up, because it's one of those things I like to rescue. I'm not a big rescuer. A lot of resellers rescue a lot of things. I'm pretty particular about my rescues. Typically like iconic 80s, 90s things, or like iconic sort of mid-century 50s things, 40s, 50s are the things you'll tend to see me rescue. I'm going backwards. We're going backwards here. I feel like there was something else though. What am I missing? Oh, that's what it is. I was like, there's something substantial. Okay. So, right out the gate, once I got in, I found 3 Jellycats, and they are in absolutely beautiful, soft, lovey, soft condition. I believe this is the peach. So one thing you want to know about Jellycats is some of them get retired. Some of the weird animals that get retired end up not even being very valuable, which is sort of counterintuitive to what we would be used to as resellers, because you would think they would be more rare. But it seems with the Jellycats, it's the more standard animals that also get retired or are a weird color, that because people love to buy these things for their babies and they tend to buy the standard animals, and then Jellycat retires that color or whatever, or even the size, and it becomes very hard to find. So it's a little bit different. Like with the loveys, I tend to look for loveys that have strange animals because those tend to sell for more. But with the Jellycats, it tends to be like the cats and the rabbits, the bears. Now some of them, the very standard like beiges and grays, those are like sort of like $7 to $15. But if it's a typical animal with a not typical color, a lot of times those do well. So I think this is the peach. I'm pretty sure it is. What I was going to get to too is the colors are really weird, so watch them, because you might look at this and just be like, oh, that's a pink Jellycat rabbit. There's like 4 or 5 pinks, and they're very slightly different. So don't let your colorblind husband figure out what the Jellycat is. Do your research, because it can make a huge difference in the actual color. And you also don't want to tell someone it's a certain pink and then they get it and it's not the pink they were looking for. So I believe this is peach. I'm gonna double check, but I'm pretty sure that is peach. I know it's not lemon. There's a lemon also, but I'm pretty sure that's peach. This is the tulip pink. Oh, and by the way, this one's probably gonna go for about 40, and I paid 2. Yeah. This one is the tulip pink, which is sort of like a springy, almost violet pink. And this one, that color, particular color, does pretty well. This one will probably only go for about 20 to 25, but this big one, this is like the, I believe 17, no, yeah, this is the, I believe 17-inch one. He's gonna go for about 40, 45. Or she. I don't know. So that was really good, because that was like $7 into roughly 90. So pretty decent. So I'm just double checking I didn't forget something else. The last thing at the, other than the jewelry, at the church yard sale that I got were these 4 Culver, there's the restaurant Culver's, and whenever I think of Culver the glasses, I think of Culver's the restaurant, but they are the cat, and there are none of the tall ones listed right now. There are some short ones. The short ones do really well. The last set of tall ones, which I did get 4, and sadly when I picked them up to look at them, there were like pieces of glass inside that sort of match this, so I'm pretty sure the other 2 of these probably met their demise. but the last set of 4 that sold for best offer on $100. So I would reckon I can get close to $100 for this set, especially since there's none listed. And it's like summertime. Like it's like a sort of lemonade tea beverage season. I think I should be able to get about $100 for those. And they were $1 a piece. So that is good. Before we get into all of our jewelry, I'll go over the little things. So my neighbor across the street had a yard sale, and it was most of it was just not even worth having out there. They were doing well though, because they had a lot of like Craftsman tools and Craftsman tool. Like if I had money, because they were selling like one large rolling toolbox, like probably this big. I don't know all the measurements, and guys know all that stuff. Well, some women probably know it too. I don't know it. I just know it's quality, it's Craftsman, it's big, and they were selling it with the tools in it for $150. If I had the room and had the money, I would have bought that, because the tools alone I could have made caboodles off of. And I've been wanting some good quality vintage Craftsman tool carts or storage thingies. And then they sold like a lawnmower. So but I did find this Red Imp certified with a Y leather. It's like a barber strap, so they sharpen, clean their razors on it. This will probably go, it's got a little bit of damage, but it'll probably go about $40. And at this yard sale across the street, they only charged me $8 for everything. And so I got a big bag of watches, but even if you include that entire bag as one item, I ended up paying like 75 cents per item. So I did really well. That will do well. I got this, like vintage religious shirts are doing pretty well right now. But this is cool too, because it's like out of Arizona and it's for a Bible camp, and it's definitely like probably 80s. Like the tag is gone, but you can even tell from the remnants that was an 80s tag. And then the graphics, those sort of like slight bubble graphics, very 80s. It might be, I would say probably actually mid-90s on this one. Now that I'm looking at it, this blue is like definitely mid-90s. But it should do all right. I'm probably gonna ask like 18 for it or something. I just thought it was really cool. It was in good condition. Then I found, which I love going through men's vintage clothing. Like women's is cool, it can be cool, but men's is where you find all the rugged distressed jeans and vintage Levi's and Wranglers and t-shirts and polos and button downs and pearl snaps and overalls, and it just hats, ties, belts, men's vintage clothing. If I see a big stack of what looks to be men's vintage clothing, I'm gonna be hustling over there fairly quickly. This is a pair of distressed vintage Roebuck brand overalls. They're not overly distressed. Like they're definitely distressed. They got like hole in the back, but that look I think is gonna do all right. And weirdly, like, because they tend to sell for maybe about $30 on average, like the vintage ones, but because of how this is worn and the like very particular nature, artistic nature of the staining and everything, I'm actually going to list these a little bit higher and really sell that distressed look point, because those artists, those wanderers love it. They love it and they will pay for it. This is actually in very, very nice condition. It is one of the vintage, like, Aztec. It's not, I don't think it's 90s, probably more like early-ish 2000s. Maybe like 2005 or so, I would guess. But it is in very, very nice condition. It does have the pearl snaps. Very good coloring. This is not one of the, like last year, oh my god, these Wranglers were like $200, $250, like especially the Bush Hopper, I think. Those were doing really well. This isn't one of those have come down, first off, you should know that. Not crazy. If you still find them for $2 or $3, definitely buy them. But they are not at those astronomical prices. So I don't want you going and spending $40 on one because you're probably only going to get about $40 or $50. This one will probably go for about $30. Also, I started rummaging through the boxes because it was one of those where they hadn't even unpacked most of it, or almost any of it. And I knew if I was going to find anything, I was just going to have to dig. So I did a lot of digging. I think the first, or one of the first things I found was just this little Snoopy plaque. It's Hallmark. It's got sort of a positive message, very sunshiny, you know, mid-century. I think it's like 1979 or something. 1965. Huh. It doesn't look that old. Well, maybe. Yeah, maybe. That golden Hallmark sticker. But only sells for about $10, but just super cute. I love picking up peanut stuff, especially if it's something real simple like this to ship. Like, literally just wrap one little thing of bubble wrap around it and stick it in an envelope because that's not gonna break. I found some interesting things. This is just like a, I don't even remember the brand, Lumen Mundi, made in Italy, vintage, Saint Benedict, like crucifix. It's not a rosary, it's like one of the necklaces. But again, I have done really well with like religious things, literally almost any religion. I find mostly Catholic type things, you know, like rosaries or little figurines or like crucifixes and that kind of thing. But even like Buddhism, I'm trying to think of what I've done more recently. There's something else and I cannot think of it right now. It's like my brain's trying to picture it in my brain, but I can't. Anyways, religious sort of icons or idols or relics of any sort do really well for me. I don't know if I have a following for it, if that's what it is. I will say the first thing I ever sold on eBay in like 2006 was a crucifix, like a little like a made in Italy charm, and I think a rosary cross is what it technically was. But it's been so long, I'm sure like none of those people are even on my eBay anymore. But I just sell them very easily and for good money too. Like, and I've shipped them all over the world also. Not all over the world, but like I know one to somewhere in Europe and then one to Mexico, I believe. Let's see here. I don't want to do that yet. I keep staring. I want to do the jewelry and I just keep staring at it, but I don't actually want to do that. This is awesome. This, I don't know if that's a, I want to say it's like a Ford Coupe or something, but I'm not sure. I don't know my cars well enough. But it's got some decent age to it. Not crazy old, but I would say probably 50s, 60s. Late 50s, early 60s. Probably late 50s. But it is a blank trophy. I gotta clean it up a little bit. I'm not gonna mess with the brass because people tend to like the patina on the brass, but I am gonna like wipe down the wood parts really good. just to kind of give it a little shine, get the dust off. But it's cool. And there have been some that have sold in that like $70 to $100 range. There's not really, from what I can tell, any blank ones listed right now. But I'm probably going to put it up there for close to that like $70, $75 mark, and just kind of sit on it for a while, because it's just cool. You're not going to find that very often. I found this little, it's a Nature Turns Aspen Wood box. It's got like the little knot on the top and a little lined drawer. It's in very nice condition. I think I can probably get about 30 for this one, especially with that sort of extra little knot on the top. Some of them are just a little more basic than that, but that has a little extra character. This is not particularly valuable, but I was already there. It's vintage. I was like, why not? But these go for like $5 to $8. It came in this pouch I'm going to toss, because I think it's actually like a Sprint LG. Yeah, Sprint LG phone. Probably, I don't know, 2007 or 8. But it's in horrible condition. But I am going to go and put this up there. If I get $5 for it, you know, that's fine. Again, I paid about 75 cents for everything. This is super cool. And it's so delicately carved. It is primitive. This is a weaving comb. And this design is just, it's so, I just love it. I'm like in love with this thing. And it's in pretty good condition. There's like one little area where it's starting to splinter right there, but that's just like typical age to the wood. It's not like broken. I will have to ship this very carefully, because it would be very easy to break one of these. Very lightweight. I'm not sure of the wood. I want to say it's like an oak, but like, I'm not sure. Yeah. Super primitive, awesome piece. I can probably get about $50 to $60 for this thing, especially if I'm patient, especially with the sort of like added design of it. So that is pretty cool. I was excited to find that. All right, I think that leaves us down to our mystery bags, which this might take a minute, so prepare yours. Actually, you know what? I'm going to get me something to drink, because I might lose my voice. So I'm going to pause you guys real quick, then we're going to come back to our mystery bags, because we have plenty. I am just lying my ass off this week. Every time I say I'm going to like relax, I don't relax. Sleep, I don't sleep. Not go out to Goodwill, I go to Goodwill. And I just said I was going to do jewelry, but I'm going to make that a whole separate video, because when I let my dog out just a little bit ago, I looked across the street at my neighbor's house and I was thinking, did I really go through the tools at all? Did I really dig in all those boxes? And I found some pretty valuable, cool things over there the first time. So that would mean, if I didn't dig properly, there's probably more valuable, cool things. But it's also right across the street, and then it's all going to their mom, who is older. So I was like, you know what? I got $20 in my pocket. I'm going to go over there. And I went through everything that I could go through. And I found a few more things. So I'm going to go through those real quick, and then I'm going to make a separate video for the jewelry, which is probably a good idea anyways. It's my first ever jewelry video, as if I've been doing this forever. And some people may only want to see the jewelry video, and it's probably going to take 30 or 40 minutes in itself. So I will finish here by going through these things I got the second time I went across the street. And then I will start again. So I did pick up this little 1980 Honda GL 1100 owner's manual. It is printed in Japan. It's very like rusty dusty, but somebody may be looking for this. It's just kind of cool. even if I can't sell it, I can put it in like an ephemera lot or something. I found these little Pretty Punch hot iron transfers. We got like some little Native American things here. I hope y'all can see this. I'm trying to get better at where I hold things. I never know exactly where my camera is pointing. We got the classic blue ducks and then like some little Western horseshoes, and I can probably lot those up, maybe get like 10 bucks for them. Then I found these like in the 90s, everybody decided they were going to make, really late 80s, early 90s, they were going to make all kinds of wooden things. Just wooden. Everybody was going to become a woodworker, and they were going to become millionaires, and that's just the direction we were headed. Little did we know the internet was coming. Big changes. But these are all woodworking blueprints. And it has like doll strollers. It even has like the Cabbage Patch sitting in the doll stroller. We've got a doll rocking chair, a doll high chair, a doll Andoranic chair. I mean, these dolls really living high and large. This is like a doll bench, a doll pull cart, a doll swing. We got this little wood sawyer. That's more elaborate. And then we got these like animal windmill prints. And I don't know if these sell individually or if I can just lot them all together. But I figured somebody might be looking for this. Somebody might want to make some of this older wooden stuff again. You know, it could be coming back around or nostalgic, or they might do woodworking, or they might even have a woodworking shop and want to hang them in their woodworking shop. But I figured it was worth getting. Then I got this tin full of, it's a Swiss Mocha tin. And I'll probably just sell them straight in the tin. Like, I don't think I'm even going to take them out and clean them, because I don't tend to like to mess with lead. It's not my favorite thing to mess with. But it is like vintage lead sinkers. I don't think any of them are marked. If they were, that could like really sort of change the value of these. But I think the lot of them, like all of them together, I could probably do like $15, maybe $20, probably more like $15. And then I found these two antifungal Desinex tins. I'm going to clean them up just a little bit. They are very 70s. Some, you know, people need props for movies and shows. People like to collect these things. There's a market for it. I don't know the value on these, but I could definitely just lot them together. I'm sure I can make something. I found this made in England. What's the name? Oh Lord. Please tell me that does not say King Dick, but I'm pretty sure that's what it says. I'm gonna verify that. But it's some kind of clamp. I am not familiar with this clamp, actually. I've never used this clamp, but I do know that this is very like 1940s, 1950s high quality clampage, and clamps are expensive, but especially those clamps that never die, those tend to do pretty well. So I'm curious as to what that one is worth. I shall find out. I found this little pulley. Don't know that will be much of anything, but if I do sometimes sell like knickknack or junk drawer lots. Like if I find a bunch of extra vintage like knickknacks all at one time or whatever, sometimes I'll just like put them all together and sell them that way, and they can actually go for decent money. So that may end up in something like that. One person had already gone earlier and bought all the Craftsman stuff, which I so wish I'd beat them to that, because that would have been mega money. And they still have it over there in the Rolly Craftsman drawers with for or sold signs on it. But they missed a piece, and it's a little munchkin. I don't know what the value on this is right now. It's been a long time since I looked. But if it's not valuable enough for my liking, I will keep this because I love Craftsman screwdrivers, but I love these little tiny ones. It's easier on my hand, like my wrist. I don't know. I like them. I don't know why they're not all like that. So, I'm sure you need leverage. I'm sure there's physics behind it, but I just prefer it. This is a Vintage Men's Fossil wallet, just a bifold. Actually, no, it is a trifold. It's got a little picture thing. But it is nicely distressed, and once I give it a good wipe down, it'll be really nicely distressed. So I think I could probably get like 10 or 15 on that guy. And I found a Bowie knife, made in Japan, 631. Saber. It does have, somebody refashioned a handle. I don't know the current rules on selling knives right now. I don't know that there are any, but I'm going to double check. It does have a nice blade to it. Like, that is pretty straight on. And it's like nicely sharpened. Like whenever they sharpened this, they didn't, lean too far on the wrong side or anything. They actually did their due diligence. So I could probably sell this as like a replacement blade or forging or something. Sorry, it was very dusty over there. So then I found this cool little bag, and it's like I think it's like a little barber's bag, like a little sort of toiletry. It is Swank, which I think is like a 1940s, 50s sort of men's barber toiletry brand, like razors and such. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think it is, because I've seen it many times. I just can't remember for sure if that's what it is. It is split cowhide, and it just has a really cool, almost like doctor's bag look. It has a little bit of like wear, but I can clean it up and it'll still be a nice little bag. I don't know what it's worth, but we'll find out. Then I found this little Sweetgrass lidded basket. I will have to check and see what that's worth. I would imagine probably 10 bucks, but I could be wrong. Sometimes things change very rapidly and go up. These are pretty cool. They had a bunch of different drawer pulls, but a lot of them were like 90s, which can do all right, but I just wasn't super interested. But these are definitely mid-century modern, and I got 3 of the sort of like scroll ones, and then 4 of these, which that is so familiar to me, and I don't know what piece of furniture I grew up with that this was on, but I know it existed in my life. So I'm going to clean them up just a little bit, and then I'm going to check the value on them, because some of these can actually be pretty valuable just by themselves. But I would imagine I might could even if I just got like, 20 bucks for the lot, but I might be surprised. Some of these actually have pretty good value. Not that $20 is a good value, but then I found this bag. There's 5 of them in here, but these are the replacement parts for those old like pen desktop holders. I can't really hold it very easily. It's got the like plastic top and then the little like sort of brass base. Very 70s, like late 60s, early 70s. And it will be a quantity listing, so it'll be super easy. And I would imagine somebody looks for these, and they're probably not super easy to find. So that should be good. And then the last thing, and I have no idea if I can even sell this, what it's worth or anything, but I walked by and I saw these bags of some sort of substance, and all I saw was YouTube. I was like, oh, this is some sort of YouTube promoted product. And then I saw that it was organic, for organic use. And it is like a fertilizer, Ozomite. I don't know the rules on selling this because I've never sold fertilizer, but I'm pretty sure that some people do. So I think it's okay. I mean, it doesn't look to have anything hazardous in it. It's like calcium, magnesium. Well, it's got chlorine in it, like 0.1%, and some sodium. But it's got a bunch of minerals and nutrients, basically. So I'm going to look it up because it even has a barcode on here. It's 5-pound bag, and I think there's 4 5-pound bags in here. So whatever this is worth times 4, as long as I can sell it, I mean, that's pretty easy money right there. So yeah, that is everything. But I'm glad I went back because I got to talk to them more, and we had some cool little conversations. And then one of my cousins, like second cousins or whatever, was leaving as I was going up. So she was like asking about how my mom's doing and, you know, asking if I needed anything. So it turned into a little bit of a social event, which I think I needed because I was starting to feel very just like beat down and washed out and, you know, burned out. So yeah, that I think helped a little bit. But yeah, I'm gonna get off here. I'm gonna go take my allergy medicine because I didn't think about it, but I didn't take it this morning. And being around all these dusty places, I don't think is working well. I'm gonna take that, and then I'm gonna hop right back on here for a second video with all of my jewelry, which I'm so excited about. Like I've just, this is what I've been wanting to do since I found it. So I'm very excited to look through all this with y'all. All right, I'll be back, but in the next video.